Hello, friends, and welcome to Pocono Speaks. Today we have a very special guest, my friend and a wonderful magician and balloon artist. This is Ricardo Magico. Say hello, Rick.
Hello, Rick.
I knew that was coming. I should have seen that. All right. So Rick is here. He performs magic all over the Poconos and in New York City. Rick, how about you tell us a little bit how you got started? What kind of magic you do?
Well, first off, thank you for having me here. I got started a long, long time ago on a planet far, far away called Brooklyn. 1970s. Walked into a magic shop to pick up gags. I used to play jokes on my uncle. My uncle used to smoke cigars. And the funny thing was, when he would buy cheap cigars, I would put cigar loaders in there because they used to stink. So I walked into this magic shop in New York City. It was called Delmar's Magic. It was on 8th Avenue. And I saw the gentleman that owned it, Russell Delmar, performing The Vanishing Handkerchief. I'd never seen magic up close. And when I saw it, I was just mesmerized. And like the saying goes, the rest is history. I just started doing shows. I started doing my first professional show at 17. I ended up working for Russell at the age of 16.
Cool.
Started just having fun. I just had so much fun. And I got into children's magic, in which I love children. And I just haven't stopped since.
And you took it from there. Cool. And you went as far as you can with it. And you're continuing to grow, right? I mean, it's a process of constant growth, right?
It's a process. Yeah, it is a process of constant growth. The thing is, you don't want to become stale. I see a lot of magicians that say, "Oh no, I don't want to do that trick. It's self-working," and you start. How can I put it? You start changing the way you look at magic, and I've never changed the way I look at magic. When I used to work, I worked at Tannen's Magic in New York City for a while, and I had the privilege of meeting some really great magicians. My favorite magicians were Penn and Teller.
They're from New York? Is Penn from New York?
I don't know where he's from. Every time. Well, Tannen's Magic was like the mecca in New York City for magic.
It still kind of is, right?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
It is. But his thing was, he goes, it doesn't matter what the trick is as long as the audience enjoys it.
Yeah.
That's the most important thing, that the audience enjoys it, whether I like it or not, or whether you like it or not. It doesn't matter. But that's how you grow. Sometimes by not changing, you actually grow, because it's not about what makes me happy. It's about what makes my audience happy. Puts a smile on a kid's face. Like I've told you before, to bring that inner child in the adult, let them enjoy it,
right,
and then they want to share it with their children. That's family.
I love that.
That's how I look at things. My philosophy.
Yeah, I love that. And it's interesting what you said. How if you don't, what did you say? Like if you don't change it, and because there's so much to learn about one aspect of, let's just say, because we're talking about magic. So with magic, there's theater, and there's scripting, and there's all other elements that go into it. And some people incorporate, dance and things like that. What kind of elements do you incorporate into your magic?
Storytelling. I love storytelling. I didn't bring him with me today. My famous SpongeBob routine. Armando, Fernando, and Larry.
I love that routine. Oh, you didn't bring it with you.
I forgot my sponges. I feel so dumb. But I forgot my sponges.
Yeah.
But it's great. The routine, it's a story. It's a story about three friends. And the funny thing about that story, I have friends named Armando, Fernando, and Larry.
Oh, those are your real friends.
Those are my real friends. And we grew up together. And, well, a little backstory on that. I was doing a magic show, and my stage name was Armando. Now, where I grew up, a certain part, we moved to Queens for a while. It was mostly Irish, and I met this beautiful Irish young lady. I was about 14, and her name was Lucy. And everybody would call me Ricky, because my real name's Enrique, but everybody would call me Ricky. And she used to be part of my show. So we're doing a show, and my friend, which was her cousin, Huey, came up and introduced us, and he goes, "The magic of Ricky and Lucy," and I was like, "Oh no!" And it stuck, Ricardo and Lucy. It
That's
stuck.
awesome.
And it actually stuck. So that's where I got to know. But these are the kind of friends we had. Now Armando and Fernando were actually brothers. They were twins. Larry was a little guy, always getting into trouble, and always got away. He was like a little escape artist, you know. So the routine is about these three SpongeBobs. You know, I introduce Armando, Fernando, and Larry, and I talk about them being the world's greatest escape artists. A little backstory on them, and the great thing is the magic happens in the person's hand, the audience, the spectators. It happens in their hand, which is really, really great because that's another part of magic that's very important. Audience participation. Don't just sit back and watch. Let them be part of the show. Let them be the show.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that, and I think there's so much we can unload in what you just said. Now, one thing is the whole. I know there's a lot of like Jeff McBride and Eugene Berger. They call not because in the magic books they call them spectators, right? Have the spectator have it, but spectators spectate, participants participate. Yeah. So I never call the people I'm performing for spectators. I always call them participants, and that touches on what you just said. You know, with that idea of getting them involved, and that's probably that's the most memorable is when someone's involved, right?
Oh yeah, it's like this. Here, look, little simple thing, bubbles. I love bubbles, right? And it's really fun, especially with kids. If I can get this open, with kids when you blow bubbles, they're really really cool, and kids they start grabbing them, which is kind of funny, because whoa, that blows. Oh, there it goes again. Okay. Well, you just grab a bubble. Here's one. There's one just like that.
Whoa!
You grab a bubble. That's the whole thing. The great thing about it is there's the participation.
That's great.
Where you hand it to the kid, you show them it's a solid bubble. Add this to my collection. But
that's awesome.
Stuff like that you have fun with people. Even like when you're doing card magic, you like doing card magic.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, folks, I don't know if you've seen this man perform. He is awesome with cards.
Thanks, Rick.
Okay, that was my $50. He's awesome with cards. I mean, he really, very smooth. One of the smoothest guys in, cards I've seen in quite a while.
Thanks,
okay,
Rick.
No, but it's fun when the magic happens in their hand. I knew you couldn't keep a straight face.
I can't.
I know. But no, like I said, the fun part is when magic happens in the spectators. I mean, the participant or the guest. I prefer using guest, but it happens in the guest hands where when you hand them an ace and you put it in their hand and they're holding it, and you go, "Now I'm going to take that ace," and bam, you go, "Okay, now I have your ace," and they're looking at you. Wait a second, you just put and
right.
they pick up their card, and it's not. It's like the king or whatever denomination card you want to put. But it works out great, and that's the whole thing. Because now they're like, well, no, you gotta see this. That happened in my hand.
I had it. Yeah,
I had it in my hand.
It adds that wow factor. Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I go. My factor is like, ooh. I have different factors. Like I'm gonna say 3 of them. Ooh, ah, and wow.
Yeah.
And that's I don't mind.
But do you play? Do you want different? You don't want wow all the time, right? Do you want some of those? You want to add different. I mean, wow all the time, I guess, is a good show too. But
no, you go wow, wowsy, whoa. You have different ways of playing. But it's you want to bring it up, boom, and then just level it out, having fun, enjoying, and then bam, level it out, level, bam, bam, and then the big finale.
So let me ask you this: what do you want your audience when they see your show, or even if you're doing magic for a few people or something, informally or formally? What do you want your audience to remember about you or about the show? What do you want them? Is there?
Well, not so much about me. It's about them having fun and me having the privilege of sharing that moment with them.
I love that. Yeah, that's great. Very cool.
No, that's really it. It's just sharing that moment. It's like, this guy, a lot of times people don't remember my name, but when they see me, it's like, yeah, I remember you. You did this,
Yeah.
And it's really, really great. Case in point, I work a couple of restaurants in the area, And I had this young lady come up to me in Walmart, run right. I'm at one end of the aisle, she's at the other, and comes running all the way across the aisle, comes hugging me and squeezing me. And her father's looking at me like, what? And she goes, no, Daddy, 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 this is the magician.
She went nuts.
She went, yeah, she went, "He's the magician." And all of a sudden, the guy, went from serious to the biggest, cheesiest smile I've ever seen.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
The guy told me, I'm like, okay, sweetie, listen, go with Daddy. You shouldn't run. I told her you shouldn't run away from Daddy. There's not, you just stay next to Daddy. And the guy had the biggest, cheesiest smile, said, thank you so much. She just can't stop talking about you. After that,
That's awesome.
he would come to the restaurant with his daughter just to see me perform and do balloons.
And what more can you ask for, Yeah, I mean, you build a fan base, right? I mean, that's a great feeling. So let's talk a little bit. You just mentioned the balloons. How did that get started? Have you been doing balloons as long as you've been doing magic?
Just about. Again, working with Mr. Delmar, with Russell, he had a balloon book. I can't remember the name of the book right now, but it was from the 1960s. And I looked, he had it there. He goes, I got a few balloon books. I looked at the balloons, and I'm like, oh, wow, he had balloons. I go, Russell, can I play with these? He goes, yeah, maybe you can sell some more balloons and sell some of these books. Now, being an artist, I mean, I work multimedia. I can sculpt, I can paint, I can do metal, I can do weld art, I've worked as a teacher in New York City with special ed, and my students used to make 16-foot canoes, dugout canoes.
Wow.
Yeah. And
Well, that skill I'm sure comes in tremendously handy when you build your own props, don't you?
yes, I do, but that's another story.
Well, it's involved in it, absolutely, yeah.
But getting back to it, having an artistic background, I picked up the book on balloons, and I was like, oh, this is fun. This looks great. And I started making them. It was in 1986. And I remember because it was the year my daughter was. No, as a matter of fact, yeah, it was 1986. I was doing balloons already, but in 1986, I picked up a book called Balloon Magic by Marvin Hardy. And this gentleman was, to me at that time, he was like 15 years ahead of his time. 15 years ahead of his time when it came to balloon art, which I still use today, a lot of the balloons that,
Nice.
From Marvin Hardy. And from there, it just went. I started doing more shows. I started doing restaurants. I started doing malls. I started working. I started busking. And
yeah. Tell me about that.
I have so much. We'll get to busking in a second. I had so much fun busking. I started busking. In the 90s, I went to the Caribbean. I did festivals. In Puerto Rico, they have a thing called Fiesta Patronal. Fiesta Patronal is Patriot festivals. And each town would have a festival. And I went all around Puerto Rico, and it was in 1991 and from 1991 to 1993, went all around Puerto Rico doing balloons.
Wow.
And it was great. I had so much fun. It's an experience I'll never forget. I did the regatta, the 500th anniversary of Columbus's travel in Puerto Rico. I made a 26-foot Puerto Rican flag. I made the boat. I made a American flag, and I had so much fun. It was great. And that's how I got into balloons. And I've done balloon decorations, which I'm getting back into again. Doing balloon decoration, arches, advertising, balloons for advertising, weddings, birthday parties. I'm going back into it. I kind of miss it. But the hardest part is buying the equipment. So little by little, I got to get into it. There's a set of tubes I want to get where you stuff balloons, but it's $300.
Wow.
But it's worth every penny.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, is that when you have a hobby such as magic or even playing the guitar or photography, you're investing so much time and money into the art, right? It's a huge investment, especially time. If you're not practicing your craft, do you practice on a daily basis, even if it's just smaller things with cards or something?
Yeah. I go on, right now winter, it's slow, and I'm just looking to develop, example with balloons. it's winter, so it's kind of slow. I'll use like 200 to 300 balloons a week practicing.
Wow. Okay.
It doesn't it doesn't cost a lot of money, but it adds up. It adds up at the end of the month.
Yeah, I bet.
During the summer. Well, let me give you an idea of my budget. In the winter, I'll spend about $200 to $350 a month in balloons,
Wow. Okay.
just to practice.
Yeah.
In the summer, which is actually in spring, which is when my season starts, I start busking again. I'll spend an average of $450 to $700 on balloons.
Wow. Okay. Wow.
But the money's coming. It
Yeah.
comes
Yeah.
in.
Yeah. Well, what would you say to someone who's trying to get started? Maybe a younger person or even just someone who doesn't really have the funds to kind of, even with magic, to get involved. I mean, do you suggest going to the library and picking out a magic book or a balloon book and just getting started
Well, that's
there?
a great place to start. The library, right here in Monroe County, the library has a beautiful section on magic. As a matter of fact, the Pocono Magic Mountain Club donated a tarbell course
I've seen that. Yeah.
in the library. It was donated to the library by them, and it's one of the best places to start. If you want to start, especially in sleight of hand, there's a book by a gentleman, Bill Tarr. Now you see it, now you don't. When I used to work in the magic shops, those were my first for beginners. It's before DVDs and all this media came out where you can look it up and copy. That book was, I sold tons and tons of that book. I'm not exaggerating when I say I sold hundreds of those books. Every time someone new came in, I go, this is the best place to start. The book, a deck of cards, sponge balls, and 2 magic gimmicks. That's it.
Yeah.
The guys that, especially my boss at the beginning was kind of upset. Why are you just selling them that? I go, they're going to come back. I don't want to overwhelm them. I want them to start on the basic, and that's the basic.
Well, that's the other thing too. Is that now? Well, there's a couple things I want to mention and get your input on. One is that there's in the magic world, there's so much there's a lot of great material, but there's a lot of saturation that goes along with it too, because we're so overwhelmed by products and by this and by that, and there's something new coming out every day, right? I mean, so how do you sift through that? Like, what do you keep the stuff that you have and work on those things, and so you're not just spending so much money on all these different things that you don't need,
Well, I would have to say, again, let's go to the beginning.
Yeah.
You like magic. What kind of magic do you like? Okay, you have a list. Like magic? Okay, I like magic. Boom, magic. What kind of magic do I like? Okay, what kind of magic is there? There's a plethora of different kinds of magic. You pick out what you like to do. I love doing children's magic.
Yeah.
I love children. Like I said before, I work with children, and I just it's just so beautiful to see the smile on their face because they're genuine. They're not fake. If you suck, they'll tell you, "Hey, Mister, you're terrible."
Yeah. The brutal honesty.
They're brutally honest, and I love that. Find out what kind of magic you want to do. In my case was children. Let's say you want to do children's magic. Okay. Develop a character. By develop a character, first you find out what magic tricks you think children likes to see or would enjoy, being part of. Develop the character for those children to connect. Once you go out there, you got to connect within the first 10, 15 seconds. If not, you lost it. Your entrance is so important. So you got to connect. You got to draw them in. Now that you draw them in, how do you keep them?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the biggest compliments, and it's happened to our mutual friend S. Patrick, and to me, it's happened where the kids come out after the show and go, "Oh, wow, you were so silly." That's the best compliment you could ever get.
Yeah.
Because they enjoy it. They're like, "Oh, you were so silly up there. You made me laugh. I really like this drink. Yeah." And it's great. It's really, really a great feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. You touched on a little bit about the books versus the DVDs, and I think I've heard there was someone said if you want new magic, read old books.
Something old is always something new. And the thing is, okay, we want to touching on the books and DVDs. Or, the videos and
Yeah.
whatnot. When you're looking at a DVD, you're just copying what a person is doing.
Yeah.
So you're not developing your character. You're imitating somebody else. But when you take a book at the beginning, take the books, because you have to figure out how this works. And you're going to find that little niche or that little move that's going to make you different from everybody else, because you have to think about it. You have to develop it. You have to figure it out. You have to figure that out.
And also to learn some magic, that's something great about the we'll talk a little bit about the Pocono Mountains Magic Club, which you and I are both vested in. So let's talk about when we meet and things like that, and what you can get out of becoming a member of the Magic Club. We're gonna have S. Patrick on eventually too, by the way.
Oh,
so
great.
Yeah.
Be ready for pure silliness, because he's great.
Yeah.
He is. Okay, Pocono's Mountain Magic Club. It's a group of magicians that get together twice a month. Okay, we have 2 meetings. One is the first Monday of every month at the library on Monroe County Library on 611. The other one is the third Friday of every month, and this time it's happening at McDonald's on 611 across from the Stroud's Mall. Okay.
Is anyone invited to that, by the way? In case you're watching this,
it's open to anybody.
Yeah.
Come in, see what it's about. If you're interested in magic, you have a child, or that inner child in you, come in. It's a group of great guys. We're willing to share our time and our knowledge with anybody that for the love of magic, and that's really it. It's the love of magic.
And it's a great way to go in there and really work on new material, and even if you're just a total beginner, there's something for everyone to kind of learn.
I mean, how old is Isaiah? 3 or 4?
Oh, you're talking about S's grandson.
Yes.
Yeah, he's like 3 or 4. Yeah.
3 or 4. And the little kid does magic.
He's been doing magic since he was like 1, though.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been performing.
Yeah.
He's performed on TV actually.
Yeah. Oh, that was for the telethon.
Yeah, twice.
Yeah.
He's performed twice on But you come in. Like I said, you come in, and we have all different ages. We have hobbyists that come in. We have people that just enjoy seeing magic come in. And you have people that say, "Listen, I'm a magician, and I want to improve my craft." You come in, you have. Let me see. I've been doing this 40 years. God, I just gave my age away. No, I've been doing this over 40 years. S is 30 years. Let's put it this way. You have over 100 plus years, and I'm being modest, about 125 years plus of experience in that club.
Yeah.
Different angles, different point of views. And the great thing about this club, if you don't perform it right, we're not going to, no one there's going to put you down.
Yeah.
What we're going to give you is a positive critique. We're never going to say, "Oh, this is terrible." No, listen, try it this way. No, this is great. No, let's try this angle. We're going to feed you good energy so you put up good magic.
And that's important for someone that's growing in the art of magic as well, because if you perform something and all of a sudden you're getting laughed at or something like that by other magicians, or even your peers at school or whatever it is, it's hard to want to continue in that. It's a little bit different of a course at that point,
Well, let me tell you something. One of the best mess up or goof offs I've ever seen was by Wabu Jambe. Okay. Wabu Jambe is a magician. He does bizarre magic. You catch his show, he's great. He was doing a show, and at his show he goes, Ayu Bobo. He says Ayu Bobo. You say Ayu Bobo.
Yeah.
He messed up, and he goes, "Oh no, Aya Boo Boo," and he kept going on. He kept going on, and it was great because it didn't faze him. He's like, "Okay,
Yeah.
I made a mistake. Ayu Boo Boo." He got a great laugh, and it looked like it was part of the show, and it was great. It was the best recovery I've ever seen.
What are some of your recovery? You have any recovery lines?
Well, when I pop a balloon, example. Okay? And I'll tell you about magic in a second. When I pop a balloon, I look up, I go, "Okay, now that I got your attention, folks," I make balloons. Okay? And it works. It works great. It was a great line.
Yeah.
Magic. Now, the guys that I grew up watching in Magic and that I totally love was the Great Valentine. I don't know if you ever seen
No,
that.
I don't know who that is.
Great Valentine was a magician. He would come out and he would mess up every magic trick. And then at the end, he would do them all. And Harry Anderson.
Yeah.
Remember him from Night Court?
Night Court, yeah.
Cheers. He's a he does con magic. I've made mistakes, and I'm like, well, it blows that one, and I just throw everything in the air.
Yeah.
And it blows that theory, And now you want to see how it's done. Now you want to see how it's done the right way, and I go, this is the wrong way. Now I want you to do it the right way, and
Yeah.
I just keep going. I don't stop.
I'll share something. There was one show that I was doing. It was a terrible show that I was doing. It was one of those shows that you're working hard to get through, and I haven't had one of those in a long time. So it was, but
You know why? Because you're having fun now.
yeah, I'm having a ton of fun. Yeah, that show was very stiff, but something happened. Something broke. A prop broke, and I said something like, well, I'm going to call the Magic Warehouse back to get my money back or something like that. But they loved it because they thought it was hilarious. That was probably the best part of my show.
Was that bad? No.
Rick, tell us where we could find you. You have a social media or social security number?
Well, I'm very old school. I'm just getting into the media.
Yeah.
I'm easy to find. You can look up on Facebook, Magic of Ricardo.
Magic of Ricardo.
Yep, on Facebook.
Okay.
My email address is magicofricardo@aol.com. I also have a couple of other characters, but that's another story. We'll talk about that later. Right now, if you want to catch me, this Saturday I will be at McDonald's on Milford Road in East Stroudsburg. I'll be there from 11 till 2 or till I get bored after that. But I always have a lot of fun. People come in, adults, children, they see a little magic. They get some great balloons.
So that's 11 to 2 on Saturday.
On Saturday.
Milford Road, McDonald's.
Yes.
And also the meetings really quick before you wrap up is
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
From 7 o'clock.
Yep, 7 o'clock, and it goes to whatever time, right?
Till they throw us out.
And then so it's every first Monday and every third Friday.
Yeah. First Monday of the month is at the Hughes Library in Monroe County.
Hughes Library.
The third Friday of
right now is at McDonald's.
Is at McDonald's
Okay.
on 611 in Stroudsburg.
Great. Rick, we thank you so much for coming in.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you everybody for watching. Check out Ricardo Magico at McDonald's or somewhere when you see him when he appears next.
You've been such a good boy. I'm going to give you a balloon.
You're gonna do a balloon?
Yes.
Do we have time
just
for a
for you.
balloon? Oh, cool. Let's do a balloon. All right, let's do it.
I'm going to give you a balloon.
Should we have some music?
Sorry,
What's that?
Sorry, cold burrito and warm milk. No.
Cold burrito, warm milk. You guys are killing me today with the jokes. You know I laugh a lot, right?
I know.
What's this?
Well, something your mother told you you could never have.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Love?
No. Well, it's not just love. I mean, I love these.
I think it's starting to take shape. What is that? I'm trying to figure out what it is.
It's a balloon!
It's a balloon! Let's see it. Oh, that looks cool.
Now I've been doing this since 1986, this particular model. This is how ahead of his time this gentleman was.
What was his name again?
Marvin Hardy. As a matter of fact, the gentleman is retiring, and I kind of messed this up, but it's kind of cool. This is my little race bike.
Oh, cool.
It's a little race bike. I'm working on since Batman. There's a little Batman.
Oh, that is awesome. Look at
Oh,
that.
you can't see black on black.
Can you see
see
it?
it?
If I bring it
Alright,
up.
I'll
Look at that. That's so cool.
Little Batman.
Is this for me?
Yeah, well, knock yourself out.
Oh, thank you, Rick. Thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. And remember, we listen as Pocono speaks.